OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Outcasted OC channel, and welcome to the first ever Raw after WrestleMania. I literally almost forgot the name of it just then. It's the first Raw after WrestleMania review that we are doing on this account. We did not do one last year because we started doing reviews halfway through 2023. I am honored. I am so excited to be doing the first Raw after WrestleMania review because I am fully being honest here. This was probably one of the better Raw after WrestleManias that we've had in the last couple of years. If you have the benchmark of last year being like all the way down here, 2024 was like all the way up here. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into what happened. So one thing that I noticed that I'm very, very happy with is the new intro for the Then, Now, Forever Together. What we had at the beginning of WrestleMania, very much like the Avengers style intro, like in the stars. That is now a consistent thing by the looks of it. It was the new intro that we got for Monday Night Raw. It is a brand new intro for a new era, and I am so excited. I'm so excited for the Triple H era. I am a Paul Levesque girly. See, look, I wouldn't even waste my time getting a tattoo if I did not like this man so much. Monday Night Raw this week started with Triple H coming out to the ring, and the crowd is going absolutely wild. They are saying, "Thank you, Hunter." Like, he's getting "Thank you, Hunter" chants, which is quite cool. Says to the crowd, he says, "I came out here to thank you for this weekend. You made something special happen, and it was one of the best WrestleManias ever." He said, "Saturday night, I came out to welcome you to WrestleMania, but today, which is Monday, I'm out here to welcome you to the new era of WWE, and I want to introduce you to the guy who is going to lead us into this new era, Cody Rhodes." So while Triple H is still in the ring, Cody Rhodes makes his first appearance as the undisputed WWE champion to the Monday Night Raw crowd. He comes out to a thunderous response. He's getting "You deserve it" chants. He's just taking in the emotion of everything, and I'm so happy for Cody. Like, 24 hours removed from WrestleMania, I am so incredibly happy for him. Like, I just, thinking about it now gets me so emotional because this win has so many layers to it. And not only that, it's such an amazing story of constantly fighting for your dream and being pushed down and having to overcome the odds. And I know that a lot of people can relate to that story, which is why I think a lot of people have actually resonated with Cody's story quite a bit. I know that there are aspects within the story that I have resonated with, so I think that's why a lot of people rallied behind Cody so he could get what he wanted, which was going after Roman for a second time and ultimately finishing the story. So yeah, he hops on the mic and he says, "So, Raw after WrestleMania, Philadelphia, what do you want to talk about?" And he goes on to say that he felt like he knew what he wanted to talk about, but he asked Samantha first to, he's like, "Samantha, I'm sure you know what I'm going to ask you." And she reintroduces Cody. She obviously, introduces him as the undisputed WWE champion. And Cody's very happy. He's very excited with that. It's obviously an amazing way to be introduced as a champion. He says, "2 years ago, I came to the Raw after WrestleMania and I lay out my goals." And he says, "When it comes to the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, the 1,316-day reign, I acknowledge what he has done." And he goes on to say that a lot of people, when it comes to having a passion, a lot of people are always asked why. What is your why? What is the reason that you get up in the morning and you work so hard for your goal? And what is the reason you get up and do what you do? And he goes, "I know this is a really awkward setup in this arena, but let me show you what one of my whys is." And I started crying when this video came up because it's a video of his daughter, Liberty, obviously after WrestleMania. And she's like, "Papa, finish the story." And I was like, I was just like, absolutely, my ice cold heart, my stone cold heart, I should say, absolutely melted. I was like, that is so incredibly adorable. That is such a beautiful video for him to share with his family. And obviously the fact that his daughter was so enamored by his win is just absolutely marvelous. He goes, "This is my why. This is my why." And he also mentions how it feels quite different being in the line for a championship, but now the championship line is going to start behind him because he is the champion. And he goes, "I've gone from being undesirable to undeniable and now the undisputed champion." And The Rock comes out as a surprise to nobody. He was getting a terrible response from the crowd. The crowd was not happy to see him. And I am not lying, I personally found this part quite cringe. I don't know, I just don't really like The Rock. And I feel like you guys know this by now. And I just kind of was a little bit annoyed because I'm like, I just really want Cody to have his moment. The crowd is so happy that, we're getting this moment for Cody. The Rock makes his way out to the ring. He looks at Cody and the crowd will not let him speak. He's getting STFU chants as well, and I'm not going to say that because I don't really think I need to. I think you kind of pick up on what I'm saying. And he's trying to get his promo out, and you can tell he's getting visibly frustrated because the crowd is basically giving him the Dominic Mysterio treatment, and it's actually quite funny to see because it's kind of deserved after everything that happened with him at WrestleMania. So he tries to say to the crowd and he pushes through the booing. He said The Rock is a lot of things, but sucks isn't one of them. And he said that he came out here to deliver his flowers to Cody Rhodes. And he also mentions how he's now a part of the largest gathering of trailer park trash, obviously referring to the crowd of Philadelphia. And he's like, look, I just wanted to give you your flowers. You finished the story. He mentions how Mama Rhodes must be so incredibly proud and happy with her son's achievement. And so is Dusty up in heaven. The Rock mentions how Dusty was his hero, and so it feels good knowing that they had that moment. But The Rock then decides to go ahead and ask Cody. He's like, oh, but can I hold your title though? I'm like, brother, we've been waiting 2 years for this moment. Cody hasn't even held it for a full-blown business week, and you're out here being like, can I hold your title? Why don't you just do what you do best and earn a lot of money, buy yourself a replica belt, and you can hold that instead? Like, you don't need to hold the title, bro. You've got one from Muhammad Ali's widow. Like, you don't need another one. Like, it's totally fine. Cody's, like, looking at him when he's asking if he can hold the title. He's like, what the hell? Like, brother, no. And then he goes ahead and he thinks in his mind, he's like, actually, I'll hold yours, you hold mine. And so they exchange title belts in a mature way, not throwing them across the ring. Charlotte Flair. And they hold each other's titles, and The Rock holds the Undisputed Championship kind of as you would if you were a champion, The Rock. And he says, this just feels right. And he says, thank you, Cody. And he now suddenly is leaving. So he goes, the one thing I'm just going to rant really quickly for a second. The one thing I really cannot stand about The Rock is the third person promo. You are The Rock, my guy. Like, you don't have to go, The Rock says this, The Rock says... How about you just speak from your own personal experience? But anyway, he goes, The Rock has to go away for a while, but remember, when I come back, I'll be coming to find you. And Cody's like, bro, like, chill out. He's like, when you come back, you're still going to be on the TKO board. You're still going to be my boss, but I'm still going to be the champion. I'm still going to be your champion. And he's excited for whenever that moment happens. So thank you, Cody, for finally standing on business. Thank you for finally showing The Rock how big your balls are. And thank you for actually telling him to, like, shut up as well. We head backstage for a little bit. We see the Judgment Day, Sami Zayn and Awesome Truth are all arriving to the Raw after WrestleMania, and we actually hear over the commentary from Michael Cole that the draft is going to be taking place at the end of April, which that's super exciting. But what's even more super exciting is the first match that we got of the night. Shinsuke Nakamura came out and made his way out to the ring. He's standing in the middle of the ring, and I absolutely freaked out when I heard the music of the wrestler that I heard the music of. It was none other than Ilya Dragunov. So we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ilya Dragunov. Easily a premium live event worthy match. He comes out with the NXT Championship. He gets introduced as the NXT Champion. And brother, this just feels good. This feels right. This is like, first of all, the perfect way to kick off the first match on Raw after WrestleMania. But you can definitely tell that this is the Triple H stamp and the Triple H era. Because ain't no way in hell Vince McMahon would be out here putting an NXT talent on the Raw after WrestleMania if they weren't going to have them get jobbed out too. Thanks, Papa H. Thank you for feeding me so good. So Shinsuke Nakamura starts off this match by kicking Ilya, and then they both end up exchanging blows with each other. Shinsuke ends up kicking Ilya in the chest and then in the back of the neck as well too, but Ilya is fighting back. He hits two really nice suplexes, and we see a sliding German coming in from Shinsuke Nakamura. Dragunov in the next part of this match is absolutely on fire. There's an amazing sequence. He hits a super awesome kick and the flying headbutt to come away with the win. Can't believe I've just said that. In his debut match on Monday Night Raw, he wins it. Like, I had no doubt in my mind because he is the NXT champion. But still, like, if this is their way of setting it up to Ilya versus Sheamus, Ilya versus Gunther, like, Give it to me. So throughout the night, we had a lot of video recap segments for night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. If there's more than one, which there's about 4 of them in this episode, I'll literally just say there was a video recap of WrestleMania. So we had the first one, and then we see Drew McIntyre arriving to Monday Night Raw, and we see the Judgment Day, and then we end up seeing another WrestleMania recap. Like, they're obviously milking it because it's the Raw after WrestleMania. The Judgment Day is in the ring, and they are welcoming out Rhea Ripley, obviously, as she retained her championship at WrestleMania against Becky Lynch. She makes her way out and she goes, hey, look, WrestleMania was almost perfect. We ran into a few problems, but first of all, Mami is always on top. And secondly, it's a brand new era for the Judgment Day, and Finn welcomes out Damian Priest, who is now the World Heavyweight Champion. So happy for Damian Priest. Like, literally, that's one of the things from WrestleMania that I still cannot get over, is that he is now the new world champion. Like, so excited for him. He debuts a brand new theme song as well, which, first of all, this is a Death Rebel theme that I do not hate. So they've started maybe doing something right. I really enjoyed Stephanie McMahon's remix of her theme, and now this one. So maybe Triple H has been like, yo, we're entering a new era. Your music needs to improve. Otherwise, you're out of here. So I'm hoping that he's done that, because Death Rebel have done some really shocking themes. I'm not lying to you. Damian Priest starts off by saying that the Terror Twins are both here. Now, if you don't know who the Terror Twins are, it's quite literally just him and Rhea. They're the best of friends. They both love horror movies, so they refer to each other as their Terror Twin. So he says that we always rise to the occasions. We rose, obviously, at WrestleMania, and now it's time for everybody to do the same. So you all need to rise for the Judgment Day. And you've got like a picture of Rhea and Damian holding up their titles, and they're like, there's a little bit of a gap in between them. And then R-Truth kind of just comes in and holds up his tag team title. And I was like, oh my goodness. And he's like, look, I brought the titles back home to Judgment Day. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And Miz comes out, and Miz is like, look, I don't want to be a part of the Judgment Day. You don't want to be a part of the Judgment Day. And then you hear Damian Priest in the background go, he's just not even in the Judgment Day. And I was just like, oh my God, are we still doing this? And Truth is like, I am. And then the crowd's like chanting, he is. And, you know, Miz is like, well, if anything, we're the new champions, blah, blah, blah. And look, Finn is like, brother, this is kind of so funny. Not really, because Awesome Truth are about to have the shortest tag reign, and you've decided to go ahead and spoil our championship celebrations from WrestleMania. How about you go ahead and put the titles on the line tonight? And Truth is like, yeah, the 3 of us versus the 3 of you. It'll be a 6-man tag. And Finn and Damien are looking at each other, and JD's like, where's this third person that you're talking about? And then the Judgment Day end up attacking Awesome Truth. We go to a commercial break. After the commercial break, the match actually starts off as a handicap match. So it's R-Truth and The Miz going up against the Judgment Day. So you've got Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough. So in the beginning of the match, Dom is hitting the 2. He tries to go for the 3 amigos, but he hits 2. And the Judgment Day are just attacking R-Truth, and then Miz ends up going for a really nice crossbody and ends up getting some yes kicks in as well. He hits a really nice DDT, and then you have the entirety of Judgment Day just attacking both Miz and R-Truth for John Cena to come out, make the save, become the 3rd member of the team. They all come into the ring, and they just start unleashing on the Judgment Day. They all hit 5 knuckle shuffles and attitude adjustments to secure the win. I was just so happy. It's so nice to see that Miz and Cena can finally be on the same page, and that R-Truth got his match of being with John Cena actually like to come true. This is such a wholesome moment. We had a video recap from Friday Night SmackDown where the Andre the Giant Battle Royale took place, and Bronson Reed secured the win to obviously hold the coveted championship trophy. He's backstage and he's cutting a promo about how he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and he said that he's going to do nothing but break opponents. He says Jey Uso, Ricochet, and Drew McIntyre are all going to learn a lesson when it comes to dominance on Monday Night Raw in the contenders match that will be main eventing. Rhea's walking backstage with Dominic Mysterio, and she says that you have to deal with the Andrade problem. She said that he basically turned his back on Dom, and how can you trust that? What was going on? You basically need to sort it. When out of nowhere, Rhea gets hit in the head with a chair, which I have a massive problem with, because do we not know that concussions exist? For Liv Morgan to come into the frame, and she starts attacking Rhea Ripley backstage. They do this like cool transition where it walks along the corridor of the backstage area. They end up brawling in a corner. A whole bunch of security come in. Dom comes in, and then he like throws the camera out of the way. And then the cameraman ends up walking all the way from backstage into the arena to start the next match. That was probably the coolest part of this segment. I just don't think a chair shot was necessary. Like, I just have a really big problem with chair shots. Like, you could hit her with a kendo stick, you could do something else, but just chair shots are kind of like, this is 2024. We know that concussions exist and we know that they can take people out for a long period of time. I know that Rhea Ripley can handle it, but like, come on, man. Go into the next match where Indi Hartwell and Candice LeRae are standing in the middle of the ring, and we actually have none other than Roxanne Perez, who is the brand new NXT Women's Champion, come out to wrestle Indi Hartwell. Like, Triple H and Shawn Michaels were like sitting in the back and they're like, yo, they want a feast. Let's cook up some good stuff for them. This was actually a really exciting match. I did actually see when Indi was looking at Roxanne, I could read her lips and she was like, I missed you, which was kind of cool to see because obviously they've wrestled each other in NXT before. So for this to be, this isn't debut match for Roxanne because Roxanne's actually debuted on SmackDown before. But for this to be her first match on Monday Night Raw, great opponent to have her with. So Roxanne is just out of the gate going absolutely crazy. She's slapping Indi. She just goes to work on her. She hits a really nice Russian leg sweep as well, and then she ends up working on Indi's knee. Indi ends up getting back on the attack, hits a clothesline, and then Candice ends up going for Roxanne's legs. So she's trying to grab them, but then something happens where the ref gets distracted and then Roxanne ends up raking Indi's eyes. She hits the pop rocks to secure the win, and obviously Roxanne Perez won the match. Candice LeRae's really visibly pissed off at Indi Hartwell, obviously that she couldn't win the match by Candice trying to help her out. So I'm interested to see where this goes in terms of the storyline between the two of them. We head backstage where we see another WrestleMania video package and we see Sami Zayn and Jey Uso are celebrating backstage, and then Roxanne Perez is walking through the hallway but obviously back to the locker room, and she runs into Natalya, and Natalia's like, I'll see you tomorrow on NXT. Good luck reviewing that one, Reese. I'm just kidding. I'll know he's watched the video if he gets that reference. Sami Zayn makes his way out to the ring as the brand new Intercontinental Champion. He's getting You Deserve It chants. He's getting This Is Awesome. People are just so happy to see him finally getting his, well-deserved win against Gunther. And he starts off by saying that he's been so lucky within the last couple of years to do some pretty historic things at WrestleMania, but this year he did it. He did what he thought he couldn't do. And he said, at the end of the day, I just want to say this, Gunther also did make history by being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, hitting a record-breaking 666-day title reign, and he also mentions how he thinks that Gunther is the best Intercontinental Champion of all time, but he still beat him as well. He said a lot of help went into this, family, friends, and he also wanted to mention one person in particular. And before he gets the chance to do that, Ludwig and Giovanni make their way out to the ring, and Ludwig starts off by saying that, if anything, Gunther gave his heart, dedication, passion, and soul into making this the most prestigious title ever. And it breaks my heart to know that you're the one who has it when you look like a peasant, and your new Intercontinental Champion WWE Universe looks like a bum. And he wants us to make this right. And so they start surrounding the ring, and they're obviously going to go after Sami, but Chad Gable comes out to make the save. Then we go to a commercial break. But after the commercial break, we get a Sheamus video package. I literally was about to ask someone to put his picture on the side of a milk carton to be like, yo, where has this man gone? We haven't seen him since his match against Edge, I believe, which we all know where Edge is gone. Nothing wrong with that, just stating a fact. But, Sheamus is coming back? I mean, I'm behind it. I'm totally here for it. But I was really shocked to see the video package because I would have thought he would have been back by now. After the video package, we get into the tag match between Chad, Sami, and Imperium. So Giovanni and Chad, first of all, they are both on fire in this match. They have great in-ring chemistry together, and Giovanni still has one of the best crossbodies in the entirety of WWE. And you cannot tell me otherwise, because it's actually incredibly fluid, and it's a very clean crossbody too. Ludwig blows into Chad's neck. Sami comes in, he's super fired up, he starts putting it to work. Imperium are both double-teaming Sami, and we go to a commercial break. But after the commercial break, the pace within the match picks up. Chad starts going crazy. He's hitting double suplexes. Sami's hitting exploders. There's a moment where both Chad and Sami look at each other, and then Sami ends up tagging in Chad. He goes for the haluva kick, and then Chad Gable ends up hitting the Chaos Theory and secures the win. So Chad and Sami both won this match. I'm actually vibing with this tag team. I think it's a really good fit of two really great wrestlers coming together for a common cause. We're on the home stretch now, and it feels like the Raw after WrestleMania absolutely flew by. So let's go through the last part of Monday Night Raw. We had another video package coming in for WrestleMania, and we got to see Jey Uso and Ricochet were both getting prepared for their match, which is happening in the main event. Then we see Andrade is catching up and having a meeting with all of the general managers. So Nick, Ava, and Adam shakes their hand and walks off. Chelsea Green comes in, and she's visibly upset about the fact she didn't get her WrestleMania moment, and she's obviously going to start making formal complaints. Adam and Nick are like, look, we've actually come up with a really special match for you to have your moment after WrestleMania. She's visibly excited. We then go to said match. She makes her way out to the ring. She's so excited, and she is greeted by none other than Jade Cargill as her opponent. And I instantly knew what was going down. I knew that Chelsea would not have it. She wants the match cut. She's so upset. Jade ends up hitting her with a big boot, hits the Jaded, and that was it. And that was it. And that was it! I love Chelsea, but she didn't deserve this. And I understand it is to help build Jade Cargill up. I get it. But both of these women need building up. I'm sorry, but if Chelsea is going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match this year, you can't be doing it like this. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I think it was great. It's obviously really made in terms of storyline to help propel Jade and show how strong she is. Kind of like a Goldberg winning streak, very similar to what they did with her in AEW, but I think WWE know what they're doing with her, and she honestly just has such an incredible aura around her when she enters, when she gets in the ring. She's just that bitch, and I'm not going to censor that part. Future Courtney, when you're editing this, do not censor that part because Jade Cargill is that bitch. We have our final WrestleMania video package, and we see the Alpha Academy is all celebrating the win that Chad and Sammy had backstage. And Chad's like, look, can I just have a moment with Sammy? And they're like, look, he's like, we did a really great job today. And Sammy's like, look, I know that you asked me for a favor, but I feel like we're kind of even. Chad's like, even? We're not even close. Like, what are you talking about? And they end up having a conversation really quickly, and Sammy's like, look, I know exactly what you're wanting. He holds up the Intercontinental Championship match, and he's like, look, next week I'm going to give it to you in my hometown. You're going to wrestle me for the IC title, and that's just how it's going to be. So we hit the main event, and before we actually get into the final match of the night, Drew McIntyre storms out to the ring and he cuts a promo before the match. And he goes, what happened at WrestleMania was absolute BS. I held that title for 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And the crowd starts laughing, and he's like, well, it's 5 minutes, then you lasted, like... The crowd starts laughing when he says how long he held the title for. And he says, look, at the end of the day, that's 5 minutes longer than you last in bed. And he said, Seth Rollins, I do respect you for what happened, but the bondage version of The Undertaker, so he's referencing Damian Priest, came in and screwed it all up. He said, if anything, the Money in the Bank ladder match is an absolute joke, and you're going to be nothing but a transitional champion. And CM Punk is an absolute prick. You took my moment, you're a coward, and when I see you, I know that you're going to be gone for a long time because of your injury, but when I see you, it's on sight, brother. I don't know why I keep saying brother. What am I, Hulk Hogan or something? I'm just excited. We had such a great show, and I can't wait to talk about this main event because it actually meant something as well. So this Fatal 4-Way match, which had Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Ricochet, and Bronson Reed, was a number one contenders match to determine Damian Priest's first contender with the World Heavyweight Championship. When the match commences, you've got Drew and Jey both going after each other, and you've got Ricochet and Bronson both just going at each other as well too. Ricochet ends up flying over the top ropes, jumping into all three of them outside the ring. We go to the commercial break, but when we come back, Drew's going after Ricochet. Jey ends up throwing Drew, and then Bronson goes after Jey, and then after the commercial break as well too, we end up seeing Bronson and Ricochet on a hot streak. Drew ends up throwing Ricochet outside of the ring, and then Drew and Bronson are both just doing a mighty, massive meat slap. And it feels weird saying that, but, I mean, what's better than two big men slapping meat? Like, we see the others do a super triple kick? No. We see three of the members in this match team up on Drew McIntyre and hit a triple super kick, and then Jey ends up hitting a spear. We see Bronson Reed end up going for a buckle bomb. He actually buckle bombs Ricochet into Drew, who's sitting in the corner of the ring. Ricochet hits an awesome 450 splash from inside the ring onto the table. Bronson Reed was lying on the table, and it was the Spanish commentary table, so of course it had to get broken. And then Drew ends up setting up the Claymore, and we see... we see CM Punk grabbing Drew's legs, and Jey capitalizes off this moment, and he is now the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship title. And Drew was visibly pissed off at CM Punk, but hey, I am so here for CM Punk being incredibly chaotic and just screwing over Drew McIntyre any chance he gets, because this means that when this match happens with him and Punk, it's going to be cinema. It's going to be something to watch, and I'm so excited that they're doing this because CM Punk is just an absolute menace, and I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. And sadly, that brings me to the end of the first ever Raw After WrestleMania review. I know, I'm just as sad as you guys about it, but it's not over. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead, like the video, comment something that you enjoyed about WrestleMania and the Raw After WrestleMania. While you're there, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell icon so you do not miss any of our videos. It will send you a notification when a new video or a new podcast is out, so you don't miss anything that we post. While you're there, check out the description. You can find all the social links for where you find Outcasted on TikTok, Instagram, and X, as well as all of our personal social medias, so you can keep up to date with what we're doing when we're not posting on here. As always, you've got your NXT review coming in from Reese this week, and the podcast this week on Thursday, we're going to be talking about WrestleMania and reviewing it as well too, as a collective, as a group. And we're going to go light on Reese because he's very upset about Roman's loss. But with that, I'm going to head off now. I'm going to make myself some dinner, and I am just going to enjoy the fact that pro wrestling is back. We are so back, and I'm so here for it, and I'm so excited, and I hope you guys are too. But it's not over. I'll see you in the podcast this week. Bye, guys.